When I asked how he would like to be introduced, our next speaker, he has basically two sentences, and the first pretty much sums it up. He's an ardent abolitionist, and he's also an attorney. He's a practicing attorney in Maryland and D.C., and he is currently representing activists in both criminal and civil suits. He will be talking about Prop 2. Please help me welcome Sean Day.
Yeah.
That's what I call myself, and one of my hobbies is to collect names that I and other abolitionists have been called by animal welfare advocates. Fundamentalist, dogmatic, all or nothing, predatory zealot, member of an intimidating clique, a purist who cares more about being pure than about the suffering of animals, self-righteous and lazy. And I think, how dare you call me dogmatic? So offended. I want to briefly address the topic of direct action because one of the reasons I support direct action is also a reason why I'm an abolitionist. Now, those at HSUS have a talking point about direct action, that we must oppose direct action to maintain the credibility of the animal protection movement. And I think how odd that I apparently don't know what the word credibility means. If I said to you, it's raining outside, no it's not, I might not be terribly credible. Likewise, if I said to you, animal liberation is a serious matter, no it's not, I'm not credible. And that's what we do when we try to advocate on behalf of animals, but condemn actions that we would surely support if done on behalf of humans who are being tortured and killed. We are treating animal liberation as a frivolous matter when we do that. Likewise, if I said cage-free eggs are humane, no they're not, I would not be credible. That's what we do when we advocate for cage-free eggs, when we do so as part of a humane farming initiative, when we imply that cage-free means that hens are roaming free, when in fact they are not. We try to get, after telling people about cage-free eggs and they're humane, we try to get them to not eat them, even cage-free eggs. Now, let me provide 4 reasons why I'm an abolitionist. One, I believe that the most effective use of the movement's resources, the time, the money, and the people is on vegan outreach based upon a clear, consistent message that animals are sentient, they're capable of happiness and sadness, that they suffer when used as things, and that it is a moral imperative to not participate in the Holocaust against animals. 2, I believe that welfare campaigns, by causing people to associate the continued exploitation of animals with such words as humane and compassion, help perpetuate the institution of animal slavery and insulate it from any meaningful attack, particularly in the manner that the campaigns of welfare are presently carried out. As typically carried out today, welfare campaigns even promote the exploitation of animals. 3, I believe that it's logical that a sustained, consistent abolitionist attack on the institution of animal slavery will result in welfare improvements anyway. Not because we try to negotiate the terms of animal slavery, but because the exploiters will use welfare improvements as a way to protect the demand for their so-called product. 4, there are people out there who actually believe we should continue to breed, enslave, torture, and kill animals. Animals are ours to use for any purpose we please, as long as we do so nicely. Let nice slavery be their cause, not mine. Now, I understand that no matter what anybody says, many still want to work on welfare improvements for animals. And I want to share some welfare reform guidelines that I've stolen from James Levesque and Jenny Stein from their website, humanemyth.org. And they demand that welfare measures involve none of the following. Number 1, they do not offer a misleading or incomplete portrait of the treatment of animals. 2, they do not minimize the full impact on human health, wildlife, and our environment from continuing to use animals. 3, they do not develop, endorse, certify, or promote any animal products. 4, they do not promote new and improved methods for using and killing animals. 5, they do not provide individuals or corporations that exploit animals with promotional or public relations benefits. So what you don't do is write a letter to Whole Foods praising their animal welfare standards, which they then feature prominently for a few years on their website, at all the cash registers, at all their stores, causing people to believe that all they have to do to be humane and compassionate people is to go to Whole Foods for all their meat, eggs, dairy, and E. coli. And, by the way, both Alex Forshaft and Karen Davis refused to sign this letter. What you don't do is make a near pornographic video with animal abuser Wolfgang Puck, as Wayne Castelli and Paul Shapiro of HSUS did. Now, actually, a friend and I made a more pornographic slideshow, but better judgment prevailed. But better judgment on me and my wife. What you don't do is call minor achievements historic and give Burger King, one of the top animal abusers in the world, public relations benefits. And by the way, even some supposedly abolitionist campaigns can violate these principles, such as foie gras campaigns focused primarily on cruelty and not centered around veganism. Because we shouldn't get too excited if someone, instead of eating foie gras, goes and eats fried chicken. Now, Alex asked me to talk about Prop 2, California, the Humane Farming Initiative. Here's what some are saying about it. Vote yes on Prop 2 to protect animals from unacceptable abuse. California farm animal rights law would require room for Rome. That's an Associated Press headline. Voters in the Golden State will have the opportunity to stop cruel and inhumane treatment of animals on industrial and factory farms. Lie, lie, and lie. Now, the actual language of Proposition 2 says that persons should not confine an animal that prevents the animal from lying down, standing up, fully extending his or her limbs, turning around. According to HSUS and other proponents of the initiative, it is obvious that the language of this initiative means simply one animal at a time must be able to move. Now, by that reading of this proposition, you could still have battery cages. They might have to be 2 to 3 times the current size, but then you could put 2 to 3 times as many birds in that cage because only one has to extend his or her wings at a time. Now, even if it forces a move to cage-free facilities, replacing hell with hell light is not humane. In your typical cage-free barn, every foot of floor space is covered with hens standing in their own excrement. Even the term cage-free is misleading. This is a cage-free facility right there. They're more accurately described as barn stuffed. The environment is chaotic, hens peck at each other, so they still have to be beaked, according to the industry. Here's some other pictures of cage-free facilities. These are also from humane.org, by the way. After about 2 years of being used for eggs, the hens are slaughtered just the same. They still require hatcheries where hens' only job is to be raped and eventually killed. Where eggs are hatched and male chicks, because they're not used in the egg industry, are thrown in a dumpster dead or alive, or ground up for feed or fertilizer. Or instead of larger battery cages with cage-free barns, perhaps California will simply start importing eggs from states or countries that have no so-called welfare standards at all.